I'll talk about dating. I want to talk about dating because nobody taught me how to do it. And guess what? I made a lot of mistakes for a long time. If someone had fucking told me what I should be doing, what I should be looking for, maybe could have avoided some of the disasters in my life. I don't regret anything that I've done. I regret everything I've done. But, I needed it to become who I am, spiritual. So, think about high school, junior high. I guess when you have a crush on someone, there's nothing bringing you to the person. You know what I mean? There's not just like I like how they look. You're not even sure why. Just there's just a feeling, right? And in this, I'm going to talk about the different types of love. This is like you're talking to the love doctor now, someone who's perpetually single or in unhealthy relationships. I'm going to tell you what I know. You can avoid my mistakes, at least. At least I didn't marry the wrong person. You know what I mean? That's not nothing. So there's four phases of life, according to Jung, right? There's the athlete phase, the warrior phase, the individuation phase, and enlightenment. So athlete phase, when I was talking about like puppy love when you're a kid and junior high, high school, this type of thing, there's nothing but in your life at that point, but like a shallow, I like how you look. I like how you make me feel. I like how I feel when I look at you. And I want to put things inside you or you put things inside me. Whatever. The athlete phase is the phase, psychologically, the phase of your life where you have little to no responsibilities and just your social image at most is important, like social acceptance, peer group, being able to play with kids, shit like this. While you're a kid, not as an adult. Some adults never get out of this phase, by the way. Some people live and die in the athlete phase. They're kind of the stupid people. So then there's the warrior phase. Warrior phase is where most adults are. It's you're a warrior in the sense that you're trying to be established, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, you're trying to, it's everything image, family, dating, all this shit. And it's go, go, go. And everything that you were taught in your athlete phase, you continue in your warrior phase. Now, this is where the fun begins. This is where it diverges. This is where Dark Night of the Soul comes in. If you are lucky, everything falls apart. If you're lucky, I really mean that. It's rare. So, the path of individuation uh, is also referred to as your midlife crisis. And it's meant to happen. It's part of the hero's journey, it's part of the psychological development. According to Jung, I didn't make this up, but I did experience it. I am experiencing it. So what happens in the individuation phase is instead of like my culture told me to do this, my parents wanted me to do that, like I what for me, I did everything I was supposed to do. I was dating even the person that I was supposed to be with, and the closer it got to the next phase, my soul was like screaming, and I was gaslighting myself. I was being gaslit, but also gaslighting myself. I'm like, you want this? This is this is what you want. This is what isn't this what we all always wanted? I couldn't. I spent years of my life avoiding making hard decisions. I stayed until I couldn't stay. It's like each phase, I just, you know what I mean? It was too hard, um, and I didn't want to be alone. So um, you don't actually figure out who you are or what you want until you have an alone phase. But this is what the individuation is because I was constantly trying to numb myself and keep myself busy and entertain people and look for someone, like be on dating apps, be someone come, please. I need someone. I'm ready. I'm ready, I think. Nobody on the dating app is ready for anything. If you think about it, if there's a God, you don't need that to meet your person, right? It's possible you meet someone that you're going to meet organically anyways, but the idea is the person you're supposed to end up with, there's an invisible string connecting you. You're meant to, at some point, interact, fall in love, make a baby, whatever the fuck you're supposed to do. Um, if there's nothing, if you believe there's nothing, stay on the depths. Just find a warm body. Go ahead. Find a cold body. I don't care. Um, just don't tell me about it. Um, so, in the individuation phase, you decide what your beliefs actually are. Yours, not what you thought they were, but like, wait a minute, how does it work? Is there like for me, I was like, wait a minute, I thought I answered the is there a God thing by saying no because I knew it wasn't Christianity, Islam, Judaism, fucking Buddhism, whatever. Buddhism is probably the closest, but I was like, they're obviously wrong. Everyone would just be that. And also, like, why do I have to know so much? I have to pray in Arabic. I have to fucking go to church. I have to do all this extra shit and learn your fucking thing. It's like, if I came from God, it should be accessible. It should be. I shouldn't have to know a language. I shouldn't have to speak English, or you know what I mean. You should be able to find God regardless. I shouldn't have to. Oh, he lived 2,000 years ago, and then he was murdered, but he's not the father. He's the son. He's the both. He's what the fuck? The mental gymnastics are insane. It's like, shut up, everybody, shut up. So like deciding like, did I give this real thought that I actually, you know, this is the most important question of man's life, man as a whole. And I was just taking other people's words for it. And I was like, I met most people, they're fucking dumb. Why am I taking the word of people who aren't even here? I can't even look in their eyes and be like, are you fucking lying? Were you a virgin? Bitch, tell me the truth. And then because I said that right now, oh, you're going to hell. It's like, you're not the decider of that, luckily. But you condemning people is also you going to hell, you fucking dickhead. Read your book. So, dating. So, what I wanted out of a partner has changed over time. In my athlete phase, it was, you don't give a fuck what their family's like. Like, I knew people who's like, their siblings on drugs or in prison or something. It doesn't occur to you to look at that kind of shit. What they do for a living, none of that shit matters. You're just like, I like you. Do you like me? And then see how long you can go. I think I just remembered this. In junior high, I did like some kind of play in class, and some girl told someone to come say she likes me. And I was like, okay. And then they said, I don't remember who the person was. They said, okay, she wants to know if you want to go out. And I think that was code for be boyfriend, girlfriend, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, okay. And then anytime I saw her like on the playground or whatever, she walked away. And then I didn't have like, what am I supposed to do? Like supposedly I was in a relationship with this person. And then like, I don't know, 2 weeks later, she's like, she says she breaks up with you. And I was so distraught. It's like I never had a single conversation with her. Oh my God. How embarrassing. I feel like crying. Anyways, um, that was so weird. In That was the second Megan. There was a Megan in preschool, and every day I went to school, she'd come up to me and she says, "One day I'm going to marry you," and I would cry immediately. I was like, "No," I'd cry. I thought if someone says that, you have to marry them. I didn't know. Apparently, my mom would say she loves me, and then I'd be like, "No, you can't say that." No. Um, and then one day I remember I Megan kissed me. I was like, "No," she kissed me, and then I think I cried so hard my mom had to pick me up. I wonder where she is. So this is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is when you're actually in relationship. So like my high school girlfriend, it's just like there's physical attraction, you like their face, and you want to probably do stuff. You know what I mean? And then we transitioned, I entered my warrior phase. She actually stayed in her athlete phase. So she never grew up. She's still exactly where I left her. She, in high school was her peak. I know that sounds being mean, but she'll admit it. I don't have a bad relationship with her. I don't hate her. Like, wish her the best, all that stuff. But the reality is that she didn't grow with me. So as I started to, get my education, start working and trying to make something of myself, she stayed where she was, so she couldn't come with me. And I see this with other people. It's like sometimes, like, there's a person that you meet and you have a connection with, and they remind you of a better time in your life, or they comfort you some way, but it's a decade too late. It's like, oh, we would have been perfect 10 years ago, and I would have settled at that time or helped you grow or whatever. It's like, it's too late. We don't live in that world. Which also lends itself to, like, you know, maybe there are different soulmates for different parts of your life. So, like, if your relationship isn't working, your marriage isn't working, you shouldn't just hold people hostage. You have one life in this form, so fucking make it happy. Instead, like, separate amicably, no reason to be, no reason to waste it, frankly. It takes more effort to hate people, resent them for what? That was a hard thing to unprogram for myself. So I was in my warrior phase for a long time, over a decade. And then most people die in their warrior phase. They never get out of it. So when I look at my peer group, most people my age, like all the guys I was talking about, they have watches, they have this car, this, everything is about external validation. Look, I made it. And a lot of these men are high achieving to prevent doing the inner work they need to do to earn a quality partner. So they have to make a lot of money to just trick some dumb bitch to be like, oh, I want that. And they're both doing a disservice for themselves. We usually, like, as men, we usually blame the woman, like, oh, she's a gold digger, but it's like they're both abandoning the work they need to do to get the life they want. So, like, even there's this guy that I he has all the answers in the universe. He's discovering shit in the pyramids that people have been mysteries for thousands of years. This fucking guy was artist, mathematician, speaks multiple languages, all this shit, and he's been, like, divorced 3 times. Like, this motherfucker knows the secret of the universe. He doesn't know women, which means there's an aspect of himself he doesn't know. I listen to everything that he says, but that's a glaring character flaw that I'm like, what's that about? How'd you not? What were you doing, sir? So, like, maybe he just couldn't keep his dick in his pants. I don't know what the purpose is. He could have been an angel and the woman's bad. But even then, it's like, don't you know the secrets of the universe, guy? How did you fuck this up so bad and keep fucking up? Hmm? So this is what I want to talk about. It's like, how do you know? Because nobody tells you. You're set, like, in school, they should teach you this shit. You're just set loose. Just go fuck everybody up. And then fuck as many people as you can, share energy, and then you share your traumas, and then just go keep spreading this fucking disease. So, getting into my statement phase, it's called, is the path of individuation. The statement phase is like, this is who I am. I don't change. So, like, I don't drink. That's who I am. I don't like it. I don't want to. I changed who I was before. I never drank until I was 27, so I was really dead set on never drinking. But then, because my relationship wasn't working out, I was graduating grad school and all this stuff. I was like, well, like, how am I going to meet people? How am I going to, you know what I mean? And that decision deviated me from who I am. And it took this long, it took 10 years to come back to it. Um, I experienced a lot in that time, and it's made me more firm in who I am and what I want in the world, and obviously dated a lot in the interim, somewhat. Not compared to most people, more than I would have liked. So I think about, like, there's like a few, like, relationships that shape you. You know what I mean? These ones that, like, hurt you and cause you, it takes some time to get over it. And then there's, like, the little ones that you almost forget about. And it's like, obviously, the ones that change you are the important ones. That's how you know someone was meant to be here. And usually they hurt you because it's showing you something about yourself, something in your shadow. So I get into my individuation statement phase, and I have to reestablish, start from scratch. Like, what is it that I want? What should she look like? You know what I mean? And thank God I didn't get married before I decided that. I find it crazy that like 18-year-olds are getting married in the Midwest and shit. It's like, you're a fucking kid. I look at an 18-year-old that looks like a child, looks like a baby to me. These are adults. They're fighting our wars. Like, I'm too old to war now. These fucking useless fucks. Anyways, um, so while I'm like figuring myself out, I was dating, and then it's just rare to find, like, as I suppose I grew, it was like rare to find just a genuine attraction, genuine mutual attraction. Because if you're just trying to fill a void, like, there's always someone who's like you'll settle for, just so you don't hear the voice in your head. Um, and you, yeah. So I mean, before I established who I am and what it is that I want the future to look like, I was just going with the flow. So I dated girls from different races. Ow, I bit my tongue. Is that a sign? Different races, um, different upbringings. Like, I was just open to everything. Like, actually, at a certain point in my life, after like, I was on and off with my high school girlfriend for 13 years, and once it was finally over, I was like, well, how do I know what I like? I've been with one person my whole life, basically. And then, like, girls with tattoos, girls, they were all girls at least. Um, I forgot about that one. Fuck. I don't like going down memory lane. Uh, anyways, think of something else. Um, oh, that one too. Fuck. Damn it. Okay, so I wouldn't have these feelings if I was smart about it. If someone had told me. So, um, I kind of just like gave everybody a shot. You know what I mean? And then the ones that you really aren't interested in, you can give the longest shot to, because there's really like there's no passion, so there's no there's no arguments, there's no problems. You're just like, oh, and the tumultuous ones you want to work because there's passion, at least there's some kind of fire. But usually, especially when there's a fire in a woman, especially an Aries woman, they're fucking nuts. They'll try to kill you. I've had a lot of those. Um, Kill you literally sometimes. Um, so I had to find out that the ones that I had the attraction to was showing me something that was unhealed in me. So it was like an unconscious. Till you make the unconscious conscious, it will lead your life, and you'll call it fate. So usually your subconscious mind is leading you to a lesson. So someone will have the matching energy for your fuck up, and you're attracted to them to learn what your fuck up is. And it's not to marry the person, but you will be attracted to them. But you need to alchemize your fuck up. Most people marry their fuck up. They're like, well, this feels right. It's the right time. I want kids. I don't want to be an old mom. Whatever the fuck the thing is. And then they instead of doing the work to get into the statement phase and become enlightened and then get your happily ever after, people always quit midway in the journey. I've never met someone who did the whole thing. That's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm telling you about it. Well, I mean, we'll see together. I don't know. I do know instinctively, but let's see. Maybe I'm full of shit. Nobody has done the work. Nobody has done uh, that I've met, done the individuation process and has the proof. You know what I mean? the proof should be visible. You shouldn't even have to ask for it. It should just be apparent. So a lot of the people that teach relationships stuff or like twin flame stuff or soulmate shit, it's like they're not in a healthy relationship or they've been divorced or they're in polyamory, like all kinds of crazy shit, or they're gay. Like there's always something. I was like, I'm not sure. Did you figure it all out? Did you figure it all out? Because it seems like something's in your shadow. You know what I mean? Like you can't fake a vibration, but everybody wants to imagine they did it. I'm there. I made it. I'm with my twin flame. We were at the drug festival. There was music at the drug festival, and then we were on Molly, and then it's that's the exact opposite of what it is. Imagine if drugs didn't exist. You're seeing like how would it have happened? And this is necessarily, we know music has vibration, and they say that it's supposed to lower your vibration deliberately, and that's where you found your soulmate. Cool. You both sound stupid. You're done. You're ugly. So I was channeling someone. So uh, as I became conscious, more conscious at least, I realized what my unconscious behaviors or triggers were, but I was still unconsciously attracted to someone I knew was bad for me. I still had, it felt like home. And this person was the most dangerous person I ever met. I'm going to skip a lot of stuff because it's relevant, but I can't talk about it. But this person was a legitimate psychopath, not a sociopath, not a narcissist. Those things too, but an actual, like, you don't know what it's like to look in the eyes of a psychopath. It's not like it's not a joke, honestly, because they will fucking kill you. It's the closest, I'm confident, closest I've ever been to being killed. Someone like actively plotting your murder, sleeping in bed next to you. I really took some liberties to tell you what the truth is. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking. You should at least listen. So when I'm this girl that I'm talking about, when I met her, it was clear she had a lot of psychological issues from emotional trauma. And my dumbass, I'm a healer. The archetype of the wounded healer. It's like I want to fix that. Fucking Captain Sabaho, they call it. So I wanted to fix and save this person from themselves, essentially. But that person, imagine it's a disease. Like all she could do is give me the disease, and that's what she intended to do. She's trying to like make me sick. Demon's job is to make more demons. So she confided in me some of the traumas that she had. Like she's pregnant, lost a baby. Maybe it wasn't lost. Maybe something else happened. She grew up in a third world country that's famous for aggressively rapey men who like, seems like they gang raped her. And I brought this up before, but it's very strange how common rape is. Like no guy knows a rapist, but every girl knows someone who's been raped. It's very weird. Very, very weird. So, um, I felt sorry for her, but it was a fucking trap. So the damage to this person was so severe. She like turned to the dark side. I don't know what to tell you, but um, there's a couple times where when she got mad, I could feel the energy shift. And when I was looking in her eyes, it was like all black, like a shark. And like you're looking at her eyes, and it's like there's not a human in there. I can't explain it to you. You'd have to be in my head and see through my eyes. But it was like I was like, oh fuck, I'm in danger. Like I'm looking at something else. And come to find out, she was doing a lot of shit to try to ruin my life. Like Gone Girl. You ever see that movie where she frames her husband for murder? Like that. Not exaggerating. She had two ex-boyfriends die, and I know it's not an accident. It's pretty weird luck, don't you think? I was gonna be the third fucking moron. Um, fuck. So I legit fucking escaped this, but I had to understand. I guess this is what a lesson to learn is like, what was I attracted to? Like, why did that feel comfortable to me? And she had very familiar symptoms of like, she would tell me what I could post and what not to post because her family's watching. And I was like, your family doesn't know who I am or that we're dating or my Instagram. What do you mean your family's watching? Probably all the voices in her head. Like looking back, it's a very, very scary situation it was in. She dropped like a full glass of wine on my friend's date on the night that we were going out, at dinner before going out. Full, like double pour. And she could say any word in the English language except sorry. Like she went like this, clearly like knocked it into this girl's lap and could not say sorry. She was like, well, you put it towards the edge and the waiter poured too much and this, that, and the other thing. And I could feel her energy. And I was like looking at her like, what the fuck? And like I couldn't even, I wanted to like hold her hand and be like, it's okay. And I didn't want to touch her. I didn't want to catch it. And I knew, I was like, I'm in danger. How am I'm supposed to be like resolve issues with this person? Like if we have an argument, I'm just always going to be wrong, obviously. And part of that reminds me how I grew up. Persian women. So this one was a Persian. So I basically started to understand. I was like, oh, there's something unhealed in me that makes me attracted to that, and that's what the karmic lessons are. It's like, oh, this is teaching me something about me, something that I'm overlooking. So you can't find your perfect partner in this world unless you heal all these things, because what you're looking for is someone who either doesn't trigger your trauma, so you don't grow, or you're looking for someone who matches your sick and puts up with the same. You know what I mean? So like some level of, let's just call it quits. I'm tired, you're tired. Let's just, you know what I mean? Let's just make it work. Don't make it too many waves, all right? Like if you cheat on me, just don't let me find out, kind of thing. And this isn't how life is supposed to be, especially in a spiritual world. So the idea, I think, is that people come into our lives to teach us a lesson. And nothing happens on accident. So the people that stick around long enough to hurt you, even if you feel like you wasted your life, you didn't waste it. They say God restores all your lost years. So your job is to just learn. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about the timing. Just learn. And every person that comes in your life that you feel something for or that you invest time in, it's for a reason. And when you find that reason, you'll either be more or less attracted to the person. It'll either neutralize it. You're like, oh, you're my dad. You're my mom. You're this part of me that, you know what I mean, I'm ashamed of. Shit like this. So then when you go through this, or at least see that it's a thing, and you can start applying this logic to your partners, then you can consciously pick what direction you're going, at least. So until this year, yeah. So last year, at the beginning of the year, I dated a Persian girl, I think. Persian girl, then Ukrainian, then Russian. And then there was a Persian that like I met somewhere around the time the Russian was trying, and we didn't really reconnect till this year, I guess. So what I learned, the first Persian girl, someone I knew casually, saw her at a wedding, and she was there alone, and I was drinking at the time, and All right, let's see. So what I because I'm conscious. We had a really good conversation about consciousness and the world and stuff like this, and it seemed like we had a deep conversation, and that's kind of what hooked me, at least initially. But this girl, there's a lot of high achieving people, and especially high achieving women that achieve highly, so that you can't say, hey, you're wrong, or you're doing something wrong, you need to fix this. So she was like overly highly educated, especially for her job. Like she got her job, went to a good school to get it, and then like continued going to school to get other, you know, certificates or whatever. And she had short hair, and that always means something. It's never an accident. A woman is deliberately doing that. And so she was in her masculine energy, and she wanted to compete with me. So she had a tendency to pick men who were kind of feminine or submissive, and I'm not that. So she was attracted to me, but she wanted to control me, and obviously that's not going to work. And um, yeah, we weren't the same. We weren't the same vibe, and it was obvious before it started. But I was drinking, and I wasn't looking for anything. I was just living. So um, it ended pretty quick. And then I went on a dating app, and then I met this Ukrainian girl. She was a ballroom dancer, and she said she's ranked number 3 in the world. So it was like a unique job, cute, unique hair, very curly hair, um, cute accent. Just, I don't know. Like, we started dating, and there was like an innocence about her that I liked. And she, on our first date, she's like, I'm married, but it was just to get my green card. But he's my dance partner. I was like, she's like, is that a problem? I was like, we'll see. He was obviously still in love with her, by the way, but to me, you know what I mean? I'm not a jealous person, obviously. So I was um, willing to give it a shot. Well, let's see if it's a problem or not. And then, like the first time he saw me, like I was like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, I can see that. And of course, he was dating someone. They were in love. She's. I went out for her birthday, and he was there because they're the same friend group. And when she was hanging off me and kissing me, I could see the look in his face. He was like, I was like, I feel bad for him, and I could. It made me also feel, when there's that energy is still there. So she said, "Oh, he cheated, and it'll never happen again." All this shit, but they are involved in each other's lives necessarily, and that wasn't what ended it at all. Actually, it's like just of note. I was like, "Let me see if it bothers me." I don't know. It's like it sounds like it, but I'm a big boy. So relationship wise, she's very attentive. She basically changed her life to fit me in it. She was always available for whatever I wanted to do. She took care of me when I was sick. We had a couple of fights. She was warning me. She's like, when I get my period, I could really fuck somebody's head. I can't do her accent. I can say one phrase that she said that's funny, but I can't say that on here. Um, so she was mad at me because of her hormone situation. I said something that pissed her off, and she was just really taking it out on me. I was like, okay, I can't take it back. Like, how long do you want to be? How long am I punished for? Because if you're not going to forgive me, what are we doing? Why am I here? It's like, if you want to keep being mad, be mad and be single. It's like very easy. And when I realized how easy it was to walk away, I was like, this is probably not it. But I held on because she fit better than all the other ones. Does that make sense? So just because she was better than the other ones doesn't mean it was for me. So there's something missing. Inherently, I felt it. But I was like, okay, what is it? And then she started talking, and initially I was just going with the flow. So it was just a matter of like, we're in a relationship. I'm there for her, she's there for me. But I realized that I looked at other women, which when I'm in a relationship, that's abnormal. And I registered, when it registered to me, I was like, that's not me. It's like, I don't feel like I'm with the right person if I'm still looking for something. And then I'm trying to work it out. Pretty girl, like everything was fine. There was no problems at all. It was the best relationship I had, legitimately. Like the fight happened, but it was a healthy resolution. And I mean, I of course had the feeling that to a girl struggling, she'll fake it to be with me, and it happens a lot. I can see that, but also like that doesn't mean there isn't a connection. Also, like if I was a woman, I'd want a guy who's done something with himself. I don't want to struggle either. I understand, like totally get it. I deserve the best. Try harder. So this is last year, so she um, has a hard life and like supports her parents, sends money back to Ukraine. Then the war shit happens, so I'm like emotionally supporting her, and she's always complaining. She works on her feet all the time. Like to make more money, she needs to be physically more exhausted, and then she'd have less time for me. I was like, look, if we're transitioning into you being my wife, like I don't mind supporting my wife. I'm actually the type of person who wants to do that. It obviously is a dangerous thing to like offer because you can get trapped pretty easily, and then once she gets what she wants, a couple babies, then she fucks off, and then I have to pay for it, pay for her dancing partner as well. So one day I was taking it easy. I was like, we'll take our time, we'll date, there's no rush. If something else comes along, who knows? And her lease was coming up in a couple months, and she's like, I need to know, am I renewing my lease? Are we moving somewhere together? Like, what are you going to do? I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let me think about it. And when I thought about it, I was like, okay, so what would life be like with this person? And I was like, it is the best relationship I've had. But if I had kids, they would be Ukrainian. They wouldn't speak any Farsi. They'd be with her at home all day. They'd be Ukrainian, and they'd speak Ukrainian, and they'd speak Russian, a second language, before they ever spoke a word of Farsi. They'd have her fucking goofy accent. She said mustaches. It's like, that's never plural, girl. It was like adorable, but kind of retarded. Um, so I thought about it. I was like, okay, like, is it necessary for my wife to be Persian? I don't think so, but am I ready to give that up right now? And it was just like, yeah, she's good. She's better than the last ones. But I was like, is this what I wanted? Like, am I excited about it? No. So of course it shows well, and she can teach me how to dance, and that's not gonna happen either. But you know, I made a. It was hard to break up. I've never had to break up with someone in a healthy way before. It was always like, one of those things where you resent someone until it explodes. So tried to break up with her amicably. She like broke into my house to confront me. It was very strange. Um, and I was like, "Oh, this is what you're hiding. Gotcha. Made a good decision. I knew it." Um, she was very like vindictive afterwards, um, and because I knew she was struggling, like her mom just came and she wasn't working as much, I sent her a check to pay her rent, and not for any other reason. It was, just me being nice. And she sent me an email, and she's like, I donated it to the war effort. Fuck you, you're the devil. Shit like this. I was like, did I cheat on you? Did I like, you're not my person. Why are you mad at me? And I did so much for you, and then I helped pay your rent, and then you like fund war with my money. It's like you could have sent it back, you dumb cunt. It's like I need money too. The fuck? And then, the conversation of let's get back together happens. Is like, no, like I know what I want, and you ain't it. Good luck. There wasn't anything real there. If you're lonely, I would have stayed. If I was desperate, I would have stayed. She would have made me. She would have soothed my pain. This fucking siren. So then, I don't think I like started. I didn't look for. I don't believe in dating apps, frankly. But every now and then I stick my head out, like, what's going on here? And as I've gotten older, I'm a lot more specific about what I want, so I know that what it looks like. So, and it's hard for me to represent myself on the internet, and it's hard for me to gauge someone else's intelligence or spirituality from 5 pictures. And I also, again, believe in God. Like, I believe God will put the people in my path that need to be here. So, why look for trouble? And I'm going to the gym. I always go to the gym. And the girl that everybody's in love with, like the hottest girl at the gym kind of thing, not to me, other people think, um, started flirting with me. And I didn't like that because I knew she had a boyfriend. I knew she had a boyfriend, and I watched a different guy walk her to her car every day. So I've been going to the same gym for 10 years or something and always saw that. I was like, no. And when I learned what energy vampires is, like, this is that for sure. There's never enough energy. She wants everyone's attention. And of course, that repels me. I have no interest in people like that. It's like weird. You want everyone else's attention, you ain't getting mine. And she starts trying to flirt, and somehow she like sneakily got my number. She, I think in person, she's like, we should get sushi on Sunday. I was like, sushi on Sunday? She's like, okay, I'll see you there. I was like, and then she walked away. I was like, how did she do that? And I texted her. I was like, when I'm in a relationship with a girl, I don't hang out one on one with other girls. So I'd be a hypocrite if I hang out with you while you have a boyfriend. If you want to get sushi, go with him. You're right. You're such a good friend. Said all this shit. She was doing research on me. You're right. You're such a good friend. I've been rethinking my relationship. I was like, okay, talk to him about it. It's not. It's not. Don't talk to me. I'm not in the relationship. Like, if you want to be friends with him, be friends with someone. Be friends with your boyfriend. And she kept trying. Right. So there is, when someone wants something, an image or a lifestyle, or whatever, they'll pretend to be whatever the fuck you want them to be. For women, I see this too. So a hot girl, every guy, and this happened to a couple of my exes as well. It's like, I will change who I am, where I go. Like, should I kill my mother? You hate my mother, we'll kill her. Like, whatever you need. And that's obviously not a solution to anything. So this girl was faking her personality, her desires, her intelligence, even her sense of humor. She was faking to match me. It was very academically interesting. I was just going along with it for the academia. And like she would say, I want to wait till marriage. And when she said that, I was like, I know my friend told you that what I'm doing and on my spiritual journey, like, you don't fucking, okay, let's see. And then she'd be sitting on this couch getting naked and doing God knows what. I mean, I know what, but also God does. It's like, this isn't the behavior of someone waiting for marriage. And then she'd be here fucking around with me and then go home and sleep in bed with another guy. Which, by the way, 100%, I wouldn't have ever. I know better than to do that. But this is a point where I only went down this road to understand the spiritual consequences of these things that I suspect. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't fuck her But like when you're even heavy making out or whatever, you're creating sexual energy. That energy is there for sex, and then she's sharing energy with another man, even just being in close proximity. So I noticed that effect on me. I was not sleeping through the night. My job got worse. Like I was making mistakes. I wasn't making money. And weirdly, she started to seem to like every green light she was hitting, everything was going her way. And then I was like, energy vampires. I'm watching it happen. I'm watching it happen. So when you have multiple strings connected to multiple people, there's always going to be an energy imbalance, and you are creating chaos. And it is a very big no-no, energetically and spiritually. Okay, this is why in the old days they protected women, saying today you married the guy that you had sex with, because when you have sex with someone, you are spiritually married. Doesn't matter if you signed a certificate or told your parents or God knows. God knows. As soon as you enter, how, like, in the natural world without society, how would God know you're marrying someone? Is you fucking do the thing. Do the thing that makes kids. Um, so I was studying, frankly. So I allowed things in my life that I wouldn't normally allow, to understand the nature of. And she was so persistent. I was like, "What do you want?" I broke up with her 4 times, and then even after that, I had to block her. She's like, "Hey, bestie," I'm like, "We're not doing that." Block. Um, and then she got engaged to her ex, like immediately after, like a month. Um, and she stole shit from me too. So like it was, to be obvious, she was around for, you know what I mean, the benefits, dating a guy that does okay. So um, it made me really like, fuck, like 2 in a row, and then the one before is just like super fucked up. Like I don't want to fight anybody. And Persian women love fighting, but these fucking Eastern European women, different level. It's just I will fake everything. You know what I mean? Fake love, fake everything to get what I want. That's a dangerous person. It's a very dangerous person, because life is tough and there's rough waters. And what is this? As soon as you're down, she's gonna kick you way down. I saw all this, but I learned a lot from it. Now I give these examples, just like these are things that have happened, and it's made me more specific about what I want, which is why I wrote in my manifestation journal what is important to me. It's like it would be nice if if I met the perfect person, the race isn't as important, because I know people who, like, adopt the culture, you know what I mean, or values at least, of their spouse. But it does make things easier. So like for simplicity's sake, it's like sharing the culture, sharing the language keeps my specific culture and language alive. And considering what's happened in the Middle East and like just around the world, like they import in every homogeneous nation, they're importing tons of people that aren't from there with different cultures, and there's a clash, right? Because the people that have earned their peace are now mixing with people who are at war internally. So they're then bring their war to a peaceful nation. And then I imagine over how many generations does it take for them to be outnumbered, and then for that thing to not exist? And that's not like you know what I mean? Like, what happened to diversity being a thing? If we're all the same thing, how fucking boring would the world be? We all have the same fucking. We're all Cheesecake Factory. It's like I want to go to Italy and have Italian food with Italians. I want to go to Japan and have Japanese food with the Japanese. If it's all fucking Cheesecake Factory, what the fuck are we doing? Um, so like, I thought about it with the Ukrainian. I was like, well, it actually motivated me to take a Farsi class. And the Russian girl, that came afterwards was the one who she signed up for the Farsi class to convince me that, oh, I'm your type and blah blah blah. She dropped it, but she did sign up. Um, I was like, oh, okay, let's see. Always fucking. I don't want people lie to me. I can see right through it. Um, so I'm not dating right now, and I think that's because I'm holding space for someone's spiritual growth. So I'm being selfless, frankly, but also I believe that this is one of the purposes of my life is what's happening now. What's happening now in my community, I'm seeing everybody is going through like this. They said this lunar eclipse cycle was like karmic energies ending, karmic patterns ending, consciousness raising. Um, and I'm seeing that with all of my friends, men and women. It's always the women usually. Now it's the men too. So like everybody's growing up, everybody's evolving. So I know that if God wants me to be with someone, God will put someone in front of me and it will be very clear. And there are certain things that like there's certain social events that I have to go to that I imagine something could happen, but why force it? If you're lonely when you're alone, you're in bad company. So I know, um, like I have a friend who she was dating to get over an ex, and then the guys that she would date like weren't really interested, and then they would they'd hook up, and then it would end, hook up and end, hook up and end, and then she'd be really distraught about it, like am I not good enough, like have all these doubts, like what am I doing wrong? But it's because if someone else is in your head, you're giving them your energy, you're not present, and then you're also not picking someone of high caliber. You're picking someone for right now. You're picking someone like this will help me not feel how I feel. That's why you should never go from relationship to relationship, especially as women, because when you share your body with someone, you're sharing a piece of your soul. It takes time to undo that. And you owe it to the next guy, men do, you owe it to the next person in your life to resolve this energetically before you get involved with somebody else. And if you have any sort of emotional, energetic tie to the past, nothing in the present or future will work. Nothing will work. I promise. It's not possible. Um, I know that you think that you're going to like run away and forget about it mid relationship. When you start a relationship on rocky ground, it's always going to end. It doesn't matter when you accept it. So I know that because I wouldn't accept it. I just kept going. And the longer you refuse to make the decision that you know it's going to end, you know that you can't save someone, you know you can't fucking change someone, you know you can't change yourself in a relationship at least. Um, you can force yourself to love someone. Uh, women really think they can. You can have some sort of there's something you can pretend is love, but it ain't love. And how do you know you're in love? So the Greeks had three words for love: eros, philos, and agape. I don't know how to pronounce agape. I'm assuming that's how you say it, but that sounds like a Latin word rather than Greek. So eros is the feeling of love. That's like the butterflies and the love at first sight and stuff like this. The feeling of love that you get, that you want, is eros, romantic love. Most marriages, you presumably fall in love and get married during eros and eventually turn into something else, which is called philos. Philos, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. It's like familial love or familiar love or a strong like, where you might not have the feeling of eros anymore, but you have a strong attachment like family. So This is also why people in marriages they consider stale will, like, they get attracted to someone with eros, like something that they didn't heal or figure out while they were single. They got married to get to the next phase, and then that pops up, and then they go cheat because they're looking for something still, something they didn't find by getting married. Because you don't find shit as soon as you get married and start having kids and shit. You stop doing your self development. Your life has to fall apart, which is why it happens, so that you do the work you were supposed to do. It's your responsibility, by the way. Nobody tells you this shit. You have to fuck up or listen to me. So, Philos, um, women that marry for money or convince themselves they want a certain lifestyle, they will marry into this. But you cannot silence your heart and your soul, and will always long for the other thing. Um, Eventually, even if it's not in you, cheating or leaving to find your purpose or whatever. Women usually they want to know which branch they're going to grab before they hit the ground. So usually, like, maybe they didn't cheat, but they know who's next. There's a and usually there's a line. There's men who have very little morals or whatever. Like, if their dick is up, fucking let's do this. Doesn't matter who dies. Um, so men also have, like, it's different for men. It's different for men because men are very visual, so it's usually always eros, but eros comes and goes real quick for these types of guys. Men will be high achievers so they can attract a woman without having to do the work. So it's usually, like a kid that does really well in school is trying to get the right kind of attention, just like a kid that does really bad in school is trying to get attention in the other way. You know what I mean? It's like it's this thing. So it's to add value without doing anything intrinsic to add value. So it's a mask, frankly. I've met, the people that I thought were the smartest people academically. Now, when I talk to them, I'm like, you're so fucking dumb. Like, you have no idea how the world works around you. You're so limited in your thinking. It's very hard for people who are academically smart. It's like you're too smart to be happy. Very resistant to change, um, because they feel like they're maxed out. I guess it's like, I can't go any farther. You know, and then life becomes about numbing yourself. Obviously, it doesn't work. You have to do the work. Um, and the older you get, the harder it is to peel back the scab. You know what I mean? It's not a scab anymore. It's fucking fully healed. So usually something has to happen that's super traumatic, rips open a new wound, and then the wound is where the light enters you. That's why bad things happen. So perhaps if you do all the things before shit hits the fan, maybe there's no more wounds. Maybe you avoid the hard part. No one's done it yet that I am aware, so you please listen and then try it and um, tell me how it works out. So the last one, agape, a jape. I don't know how Greek people sound. You'd think, like, we all know what Italian sounds like, but Greek just, I don't know. It sounds like it hates Turkish. Um, Most people do. So this is the only way I can describe it is how God loves us, because it doesn't exist. There's no parent that, like, parents have this type of love for their kids, but parents don't notice, you know what I mean? Like, stay in it enough to, like, parents still traumatize their children. But the way God loves us, it's like you can make your mistakes. You can make as many mistakes as you want. You're never out of His good graces. He loves you perfectly. The real God, not the one that you read about. So that's the type of love God has for us. So we can do all kinds of fucked up shit while we're here. while we're learning, while we're discovering who we are and how to get to Him or become Him, whatever the purpose is. And again, no record of wrongdoing. Um, Forgiveness is like built into it. You don't have to forgive if you don't hold a grudge. Like, it would be the perfect parent. So it is the type of love parents have for their kids, where it's like there's nothing your kid like. Pablo Escobar's mom was like, no, he just helps the pobres for sure, not my baby. Obviously, a lot of that's not it. Is my point. That's why I had this asterisk. Is like it's like that, but it ain't that. So, in order to get to this, you have to actually have experienced hell. You can't manufacture this. You can't convince yourself to have it. You have to go through everything and love your enemies legitimately. You can't have any resentment towards any human being, or you can't have this. Is This is like becoming Jesus or Buddha or fucking Zoroaster or whatever, whoever you want to put there. That's what they've achieved. It's what I, frankly, is what I want to achieve. I am in the midst of trying to do it now. Um, I know it's the right thing to do. It is very hard, though. You have to ignore like all of your human instincts. Um, yeah, to know like, hey, I was you. I made mistakes. I had to figure it out. I didn't know. Please forgive me for not knowing. I wanted people to forgive me for not knowing better when I didn't know better. So I have to forgive people for not knowing better when they didn't know better. If they know better and still fuck you over, still no justified resentments. Just you can love people from afar. It's like they don't know any better. They didn't figure it out. Why send and receive negative energy? So the type of relationship I want would be that. And having that would be the perfect relationship. In my manifestation journal, I was saying, writing down, I am in the perfect relationship. I am in it. I am making it happen. So there's a lot of minutia about like what this person looks like and acts like and feels like, but they will love me properly. That's what I need the most. Because a lot of people will have some sort of love for me. People have crushes on me, Zeros. People want me to take care of them, Philos. Exchange things. Like the ex that I was saying, they wanted me to join her church and all this stuff. It was Philos. It was like she would say, we're doing life together anyways. And I wasn't done looking for the feeling of love. Because like I did love her as a friend and I tried to manufacture Eros and it couldn't work. Um, I thought I loved her romantically, but I couldn't. My body knew, frankly. I, I don't want to be specific because I don't want to say anything negative about her, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. So your body and your soul are connected. So they're sharing information that your brain's unaware of. Um, it's not everything, but it's not nothing either. So when you're dating and you're dating with intention, like there's nothing wrong with uh, dating to figure out if you're compatible and stuff like this, but without the framework, you can waste a lot of time, money, effort, and most of all, you will cause a lot of trauma. So, to minimize your footprint, so to speak, it's good to have this information and knowledge because everybody wants a happily ever after. No one gets it without a story. No one just, oh, I met him in high school, we were a perfect match, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's a pretty rare story. And you haven't had a single problem. It's like you hear about it. It's like from people who don't know anything about the world. So it's basically like, yeah, penguins have one partner. They have pea-sized brains. They don't fucking. There's no existential crisis. To get through your existential crisis, that's the last thing I want to talk about is the twin flame journey. this is a buzzword fucking everywhere, right? So I'm on twin flame journey. I met my twin flame, soulmates. Blah, blah, blah. The idea that two people on this planet both became conscious and did the work on themselves and then met each other is what that is. Maybe it's the journey to get there, which I know I'm on. Just who's on the other side of that? How common do you think that is in society, in culture, in the world? Like there's this concept of 144,000 people. It's like 144,000 people out of like 8 or 9 billion are supposed to become conscious and then like make a new wave of humanity, basically. Humanity without our problems. It's our responsibility to get rid of. This is every human being's responsibility, by the way, not just mine, but I'm doing it. The stuff that I inherited, the things that created me, I shouldn't pass on to the next generation. And the way I do that is I become conscious of me. When I become conscious of my unconscious, of bringing more into the light, our DNA supposedly is mostly like translating light, as far as the last explanation I heard. It's like your consciousness will change your DNA. You becoming conscious changes your DNA. That's how they explain the placebo effect as well. Like the power of your mind is it's still a mystery to humanity. They had better explanations for it in the old days, in ancient times. So if two people did the work and became conscious, and these people were destined to be together and they didn't settle, which is also rare. How many, like, there's a perfect couple, but something comes and fucks that up. So they give up early, they get married early, they whatever the fuck happens. What are the odds that these people become conscious and then make a new set of hyper conscious human beings? You would have never heard of it. The phrase has been co-opted and just like, oh, I met my twin flame, and now we fucking do Molly every weekend and drugs and blah blah blah. It's like that ain't it. You stop doing the work. You know what I mean? You don't need, like, you'd feel like you're on Molly all the time if you do the work. You don't need it. Those things don't coexist. I know you're not supposed to do drugs. You're not supposed to alter this. Um, so no to the rest of that. Um, Now the last thing is like the wounded healer. So as I tried to heal people that I saw were in pain, I got really frustrated that I got nowhere with it, because people can't change for you. People can only change for themselves. And by the time they do that, you might not even be the right person for them. So I'm always very encouraging of people to, like, there's a lot to discover about yourself if you're stuck in a loop. You know what woke me up is mushrooms. But is that the is that a solution for everybody? Like going to Peru and fucking drinking the toad venom? I had done a lot of therapy before I went on, before I thought there was a spiritual journey or that anything. So I had the knowledge I needed already, the awareness I needed already, and then it was just releasing the emotional attachment I had to my feelings so I could get to the next step. So it leveled me up. But if you're not at that first step and you take this stuff, I think this is what causes psychosis. Essentially, like you could never come back. It's a scary step to take. Like you have a lot to lose, so you should be pretty fucking sure that you need to do it. And of course, everybody has a good experience, but everybody, um, just because you took Molly and were happy for a day doesn't mean you solved anything. Consciousness is conscious thought, awareness. Now, the other thing is, like, when you open the door and you're not grounded, it's opening the front door during a snowstorm. And you're You're thinking you're going to choose which snowflake comes inside, so you can't. So if it's a spiritual world, you're opening a door to something you don't understand. They can make a Ghostbusters movie about what happens. So be careful, frankly. Just be careful. Um, you can do it totally unassisted. And sometimes when we want something, we resist it. We prevent it from happening. Um, everyone is capable of growing. I believe that. And I believe that God gave me the ability to see what ails people and stuff so that I could help. But you help people the best by leaving them the fuck alone, frankly. Um, you only affect the external world by affecting your internal world. Change starts from within. So, those are the things that I want to talk about. Like when you're looking for a partner, when you're. So, like, I felt more alone in the wrong relationships for sure. That's what made me feel alone. Um, and the fear of being alone made me not want to be alone, but that's where I discovered everything. You necessarily cannot do yourself. You learn in a relationship. You get triggered, but you only affect change alone. So there's always like stories of people in relationships like, oh, let's go to therapy. Let's just, like, when have you ever heard it working? When? Tell me. It's not rhetorical. Um, yeah, figure your shit out before you settle down. And then, yeah, you have to trust in divine timing. You have to learn if there's a higher power, how to hear it. I went out with my friends to dinner last night, and I don't drink, but I woke up at 4 in the morning. I was hung over. I felt it in here, pounding headache, tired all day. I feel my face tired. I'm puffy. Like this, it didn't make sense. I had a mocktail, and I'm like, there has to be something in the mixer. It doesn't. It's not sugar. It doesn't make sense. They must put some shit in there, and I can feel it fucked my spirituality up. My energy's fucked. So just water from now on. Um, you know, maybe not even. Yeah, maybe not even water at the place. Um, I can't afford to. Like I need to hear my signs and synchronicities, and then when I feel like severed from God. Like I feel physically and spiritually sick, like anxious. It's like all of a sudden, like I know there's a deep knowing that I had yesterday, and then through like no deliberate incorrect action, something got fucked up. I know my body too well to be like this is no, this is something, and it's worth mentioning. So, uh, I have plans that go like late tonight, and you know, it starts late, and I don't have the fucking energy for that kind of shit. But because I've been so tired all day, I think I'm just gonna nap, and then probably I'll want to be out tonight. So, um, when you're dating someone, are you spending time or are you wasting time? Like I noticed a lot of couples, it's like everything revolves around an activity or going somewhere. And of course, when you start dating, that's what everybody does, but you don't really get a feel for someone is until they're comfortable, until they're actually triggered. That's when the fun begins because everyone's wearing a mask, and especially in public, they're wearing a mask. You gotta you gotta bring them by your family. You gotta do the things that show you who they are. Go around their family. What is this like? What are these people like? What does it feel like here? Yeah, I don't know why people date just to date, just to stay busy and just to have plans on the weekends or whatever. It's like you're stopping if you don't, if you hold on to who's leaving, you don't make room for who's coming. So keep that in mind. Also, a mistake I've done very, very, very much in my life. Okay, um, that's it. The last thing I want to mention is these are the most depressing colors. These are the colors of the 70s and early 80s. And it reminds me of my childhood. Everything was this color: walls, floors, ceilings, buildings. I don't know why I like this shirt, but everything was this color in the 70s. It was the worst era. I hope I wasn't. I bet you I was like a beatnik, or I was born in the 50s and then I lived through the 70s. So I was like, fuck this place and time. And I probably died in 84 and I was reincarnated in 85. That's my guess. Um, okay. I'm gonna eat food and I'll see you when I see you. That was dating, three types of love, other stuff, and things. I will see you next week. Bye.